Hi everybody. Okay, we're going to do unit rates now. And as you learned from the last video, a unit rate is really just a rate or ratio that has a 1 on the bottom. So let's look at this example here. We have Elvis has a job playing piano. He makes $40 in 8 hours. So I'm going to write that here. He makes, I'll put the $sign here and hours here. And he makes $40 in 8 hours. So first thing we want to do is find out how much he makes in 1 hour, right? This is called the unit rate because the hours, it's going to have a 1 on the bottom there. So one way you can do that is just divide 40 divided by 8. And we all know 40 divided by 8 is 5. So this tells me that he makes $5 in 1 hour, right? $5 an hour. Now we have to figure out in 5 hours, what does he make? So let's put, now this is going to be 5, because it's hours, 5 hours. So now, what do we do to the 1 to make it a 5? Well, we do times 5. And if I do times 5 there, that means I have to do it up here too. So 5 times 5 is 25. So that means now, in 5 hours, he will make $25. Got it? Cool. Let's try another one. So this problem is very similar to the last one. Brianna buys 6 pounds of bananas for $24, right? So we're going to put the, we want to find 1 pound, so we're going to put that on the bottom. We're going to put pounds on the bottom. So I'm going to put money on the top, pounds on the bottom. Okay, so 6 pounds, so I'm going to put a 6 here in the middle. 6 pounds of bananas cost $24. So first thing we want to do is find the unit rate. When it says what is the cost of 1 pound, that means the unit rate because we want to have a 1 here. So let's put a 1 here. So the way you find the unit rate is just divide. 24 over 6 means 24 divided by 6. What is 24 divided by 6? It is 4. Because we know that 6 times 4 is 24. So that means that the bananas cost $4 for 1 pound of bananas, right? Now that we know how much 1 pound of bananas is, how much are 20 pounds? That's a lot. Let's put that way over here. 20 pounds of bananas. Well, what do you have to do to make a 1 into a 20? You have to do times 20, right? Because 1 times 20 is 20. So that means you have to do the same thing here. So this is also going to be times 20, and 4 times 20 is 80. So that means that it is going to be $80 for 20 pounds of bananas. Got it? So let's see if you can try this. Micah has 162 water bottles that come in 9 cases. How many bottles are in each case? So we want to find the unit rate here, right? So I'll get you started. He has, if we put bottles on the top and cases on the bottom, and it says here 162 water bottles, 162 over 9 cases. So in each case, how many water bottles in each case? That means in 1 case. So we want to figure out in 1. So let's see if you can figure this out. Ready, go. All right, so what you should have done here is do 162 divided by 9. So let's just write that out. 162 divided by 9. 9 goes into 16, 1. With 1 times 9 is 9. Subtract. 16 minus 9 is 7. Bring down the 2. 9 goes into 72 8 times. So the answer, and 8 times 9 is 72, so there's nothing left over. So this is going to be 18. So that means in each case, how many bottles are there? There are 18 bottles in each case. Oh, this is a fancy one, but you can do it. So, some kids run laps around the track. Who ran the fastest? Meaning, find the unit rate for each kid. So, Maddie, she ran 9 laps, and it took her 36 minutes. Bindi ran 12 laps, so she ran more laps, but also took her longer, 42 minutes. Taven ran 3 laps and took him 15 minutes. So what you want to do is find the unit rate for all of these, right? So find the unit rate, which is basically going to do
this number divided by that number, right? And this number divided by that number, this number divided by that number. Then you put it in here and it'll tell you how fast it took them to run one lap.
So do that, and then I want you to tell me who ran the fastest. Who ran the fastest? Ready, go. Okay, so you should have figured out by now that we just have to divide. So 36 divided by 9 is 4, so this gets a unit rate of 4. And 42 divided by 12, well, that doesn't come out evenly, right? Let's do that now. If I do 42 divided by 12, it goes in 2 times 12, 3 times 12 is 36, so let's do 3. 3 times 12 is 36. If I subtract, that becomes a 3, borrow 1, that's a 6. So that's a 6, so it means it's 3 and 6/12. And I know that 6/12 is the same as a half, so really this is going to be 3 and 1/2. And then Taven ran 3 laps in 15 minutes. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Okay, so now this tells us that it took Maddie 4 minutes to run each lap. It took Bindi 3.5 minutes to run each lap, and it took Taven 5 minutes to run each lap. So that means that the fastest person was Bindi because she ran the laps in the smallest amount of time. Awesome. Andrew gets paid $12 to walk the track. That's pretty good. So if he walks 24 laps, how much does he make per lap? So he did 24 laps and he got $12. 24 laps, $12 for the whole thing. So how much does he make per lap? That means for one lap. So we want to know how much he makes per lap, right? So that means we want dollars on top and we want laps on the bottom, right? Because we want, when it says per laps, we want to know like per one lap. So he makes $12 and he did 24 laps. So now you're thinking, but wait, Mr. Singer, I can't divide 24 into 12 because 12 is smaller than 24. Well, so here's what you do. You still can do 12 divided by 24. It's just a fraction, right? 12 over 24. You can divide it. I won't go into that right now. It'll have decimals and double digits. We haven't done that yet. But let's just reduce this fraction. If I divide both sides by the biggest number that fits into it, divide by 12. 12 divided by 12 is 1. 24 divided by 12 is 2, which means it's 1/2. So how much money does he make? He makes $1/2. So 1/2 of a dollar, how much is 1/2 of a dollar? It is 0.50 or 50 cents. He makes 50 cents a lap. Now that's a hard one, and I'm only giving you this one because there's a problem that's just like this in your book that you're going to do for homework. So if you forget it, pay attention to this. All right. So here's another program I have. Now we're going to take here's a scale. This is called a double number line. So if you notice, the top line is dollars and the bottom line is apples. So I'm going to take this bag of apples, I'm going to put it on the scale. Boom. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 apples, and it costs $2.50. Right here you can see $2.50 and 5 apples. So if it costs $2.50 for 5 apples, we want to figure out what is the unit rate here for 1 apple. It's almost like you have to do $2.50 divided by 5. Maybe it's helpful if we do another bag. Now there's 10 apples and it costs $5. So what I want you to do now is see if you can figure out what is the unit rate, meaning how much does it cost for 1 apple. Ready, go. Ooh, all right, so if I know it's $5, 5.00 for 10 apples, remember you just divide, right? So this is like the unit rate right here. You've got 5 over 10, or 5.00 over 10. 5.00 divided by 10. Let's see how to do this. We have decimals. I don't know if you've done, hopefully you've done dividing by decimals before, but when you do this, the decimal just goes straight up. How many times does 10 fit into 5? 0 times. So now how many times does 10 fit into 50? It fits in 5 times. 5 times 10 is 50. Subtract 0, bring down the 0. How many times does 10 fit into 0? 0 times. So this is how much it costs for one apple, which is 50 cents, right? So let's type that in here and see what happens if we got it right. So I type in 50, 0.50, and it's right. Yay! So now I know it costs 50 cents per apple, right? So if it's 50 cents per apple, how much does it cost for 15 apples? Oh my gosh. So now we know that for one apple, I'm going to put it here, it costs 50 cents. So 0.50, which is just what we have over here too. Now we're going to have 15 apples. So I put a 15 here. And now what is this going to be? Well, 1 times what is 15? 1 times 15 is 15. So now I have to do 50 times 15. And I'm going to write that out. And so I want you to do that on your paper. 0.50 times 15. So that is 7.50. So that'll be $7.50. Okay, so now we're on the book. And we're on guided practice on page 34. I'm going to just put page 34 in your book. You can do it along in your book. In fact, even though we're doing this on the computer right now, on the screen, if you write it in your book, it'll help you a lot for when you're doing your homework. That way you can just look back at this. So we want to find that each rate is a unit rate, meaning a 1 on the bottom. So 44 points in 4 quarters. And quarters here, they're talking about like quarters of a basketball game. They're talking about like a period of time. They're not talking about money. So if you make 44 points in 4 quarters, how much do you make in 1 quarter? That's the unit rate. So see if you can figure that out. Ready, go. Okay, so what you should have is in 44 points in 4 quarters. Okay, so 44 points in 4 quarters, really that just means you're going to write 44 over 4, and then you can reduce that, or you just divide. So 44 divided by 4 is 11, so that means you're going to make 11 points in 1 quarter. So the average is going to be 11 points in 1 quarter. So now you try number 2, 125 feet in 5 seconds. Ready, go. Great, so you're just going to put 125 over 5, right? 125 feet in 5 seconds, and then you can just, we want to figure out what it'll be over 1. So you could look at it as this way, 5 divided by 5 equals 1, 125 divided by 5 is 25. Or you could just say 125 divided by 5 is 25, so that means you go 25 feet per second, or in 1 second. Okay, let's try number 3. Ready, go. So again, look, they even write it, almost looks like a fraction. 360 miles in 12 gallons. So really, you just need to do 360 divided by 12. 12 meters in 28 seconds. Let's just reduce this and see what we get. Because the top number is smaller and the bottom number is bigger, let's try reducing it and let's see what that gets us. So if we divide both sides by 4, I think that's our GCF. Divide by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 28 divided by 4 is 7. So we have divided, and so that means in 1 second, this will go 3/7 of a meter. So 3/7 a meter in 1 second. Whew, fancy. All right, let's try number 5. Molly shot 20 baskets in 4 minutes. Nico shot 42 baskets in 6 minutes. How many more baskets did Nico shoot per minute? So this is like that example I gave you about the kids running the track. Oh, you try it yourself. Ready, go. Molly did 20 baskets in 4 minutes, and Nico did 42 in 6 minutes. So let's just divide and figure out what it is. 20 divided by 4 is 5, so he did 5 baskets a minute. And Nico did 42 divided by 6 equals 7 baskets per minute. So Nico did 7, Molly did 5, which means Nico did 2 more per second. 2 baskets. So Nico, because 7 is 2 bigger than 5. Got it? Cool. Number 6. For Carolina's birthday, her mom took her and 4 friends to a water park. Carolina's mom paid $40 for 5 student tickets. What was the price for 1 student ticket? Easy, right? She paid $40 for 5 tickets. We want to know how much is 1 ticket going to be. 40 divided by 5 is 8. So it costs $8 for 1 ticket, or each ticket. Okay, so your homework is independent practice, page 35. Just do numbers 1 through 7. And let me point out that if you get stuck on any of these, for each problem it says what examples you should look at, which means you might have to go back a page or 2 to look at the example. So use these hints to help you. So this says unit rate, and just remember unit rate means it's a fraction with a 1 on the bottom. And the same thing, how much paint is in each container, that just is going to be a fraction with a 1 on the bottom. Got it? You're just going to divide the numbers. This one is just like I did with the kids running laps, except it's cars. If you have really big numbers that you have to divide, like 102.6 divided by 38, go ahead and use a calculator. It's okay with me, because I just want you to get the idea of how to do the problem. I don't want you to get hung up on some big division problem that you have trouble with. So yes, it's okay to use a calculator for these problems. We might have some later on where you can't use a calculator, but for this, go ahead and use a calculator.